But before introducing them, let me say that this group represented in this panel is only a small part of our interfaith community. And many of you sitting in the audience are also faith and community leaders in your own right. It is our hope that this model for discussion will be a springboard in bringing people of faith and community members to act in use of the death penalty. We charge you with carrying on the message and finding ways to engage others under your leadership. Why should we care about the death penalty? As Texans, it matters because our reputations, our local and county budgets, and our safety are all wrapped up in this issue. Aside from the economics, our judicial system is just unjust. As many of you already know, the Innocence Projects and others have brought a light to numerous cases of wrongful convictions. The evidence is increasing that innocent people have been killed. And we know others have lost decades of their life to being wrongfully incarcerated. I would be remiss in not saying that pronounced racial prejudice is at play in the use of the death penalty. But the debate over the death penalty, like most other national and legal policy decisions, is not one of pure math or logic. Emotional and spiritual elements strongly influence public opinion and legal recourse. The fact of the matter is that many of those executed have committed heinous and seemingly unforgivable crimes. I work alongside Vicki Sheber, and Vicki lost her 20-year-old daughter Shannon in 1998 when Shannon was working on a graduate degree at Wharton School of Business. The killers scaled a wall, broke into her apartment, and raped and murdered her. The murder of Shannon was brutal and a calculated act of violence that took Vicki's precious daughter from her. As a mother of 5, I can't begin to imagine the sadness, the anger, and the confusion that she felt then and still feels at times today. When she and her husband, Syl, were forced to face their daughter's killer, they knew their faith would be tested. Vicki and Syl chose to work towards the sanctity of life and not to pursue the death penalty, an act that the media and public found incomprehensible. The scrutiny and criticism that Vicki faced in response to her choice to choose life called upon all her strength and faith in a whole new way. Today, Vicki is an activist and a speaker who still chooses life as her process to heal and believes the need to have, all of us, to have formed conscience. Many others have experienced deep loss due to violence. It is my hope that we as a faith community will have the strength to find alternative ways to address the violence in our communities. The bright spots today are the reduction in the number of death sentences in our state here in Texas. The political climate is shifting, and district attorneys are more often pursuing alternative sentencing, such as life without parole. In more and more capital cases, jurors are rejecting the death penalty. Over the last 7 years, we have seen a 70% drop in the number of new death sentences handed down in Texas. In 1999, 48 were sentenced to death in Texas. In 2010, the number was only 8. Nationally, new death sentences are down by 50%. Recent polling also indicates that 61% of the voting public support alternative forms of punishment to the death penalty. The minimum is on our side in doing away with the broken capital punishment system. Our format tonight is this. We will hear from our first 4 panelists, and we may take a moment to clarify any issues, and after that, we will hear from our last 3 panelists. Once we've heard from all of our panelists, we will have 30 minutes for the panel to address questions from the audience. Please write any questions that you have on the cards that were given to you with your program, and pass them to the ends of the rows where volunteers will be circulating to pick them up. Brother Brian Halderman of St. Mary's University and Susan Ives of the San Antonio Peace Center have graciously volunteered to read the questions to the audience during the Q&A. To close, you will hear about ways you can get actively involved in Texas to seek justice and end the use of the death penalty. Then Bishop Cantu will make concluding remarks and close the evening with a prayer.